I know that I've already made a podcast recording for today, but I'm currently in the middle of something that I think is really interesting and I'd like to share with you guys. And so rather than running the risk of me forgetting tomorrow, I figured let me just hop on the phone right now and make a quick recording. Now, for those of you who are long term listeners of the podcast, you'll recall that I say time and time again that sales is a question driven process and that we should indeed have a process and follow that process to the T every single time. Now, the reason why we're supposed to stick to the process is because it protects our customer, our clients. It makes sure that they receive top notch service because it makes sure that they'll be able to receive top-notch service because when you follow your process, you're going to be able to find out the extent of the problem that they're trying to solve, the vision that they're trying to achieve, and you'll be able to figure out if it is profitable for you to step into this business relationship with them. So they're protected because they get exactly what they want, and you will be protected because you get exactly everything that you want because you've asked all the relevant questions and so you know all the key parameters that you need to meet. Now, there's a danger, however, for some of us. I make that mistake often, and that's the reason why I'm making this recording right now, so that you guys won't fall into this same challenge that I find myself in repeatedly. And so that is, some of us have the discipline of coming up with a process, but then we find ourselves dealing with friends and family members and really close associates, and then we throw our process out of the window. So someone reaches out to say, hey, Nike, can you help me plan my son's birthday party? Temide is turning 5. I don't want it to be something big. Let it just be something small, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, you want to be a good friend, and so you say, it's okay, don't worry, I got you. I'll sort this out. And then you go about planning a small event the best way that you know how. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you will know that part of the gospel that I preach is that your sales process should involve qualifying questions. Now, qualifying questions are questions that you ask to figure out who it is that you're talking to, the nature of the problem that they're trying to solve, the creative vision that they have, the outcome that they're trying to seek. You be sure that both of you are in agreement when it comes to money and the financial stuff, just to be sure that you can get a healthy margin out of it. And most importantly, you want to be sure that it is a problem, that the vision that they're trying to achieve is something that you can, in fact, deliver on. Now, in this case, where your friend reaches out to you, the wedding planner, you want to be a nice friend and you say, don't worry, I got you. The problem is you don't ask the right questions and you might pour a lot of your heart and soul planning this small, intimate thing the best way that you know how, only to find out on the day that you have missed a couple of things that would have been key parameters for your friend. But of course, we make that mistake because we don't qualify, and so it causes all sorts of problems at the end of the day. Hopefully, you guys haven't fallen into that situation yet. And if you haven't, then let this be a cautionary tale. Because that's something that I'm currently working through. One of my classmates reached out. She had done photographs with another photographer to mark her 40th birthday, and she wanted a couple of things redone on the photos. And so she reaches out to me. After all, what are friends for? And of course, I fell into the trap, as I usually do. Okay, well, not usually, because I've only done this maybe, let's say, 2 or 3 times in the past. Sorry, excuse me. And so, of course, I told her, no problem, I got you. I don't edit, but I have someone who does, and this looks like the kind of thing that he can do. Let me hook you guys up. And so I made the hookup, the photos were exchanged, work was done, and she's a little dissatisfied on 3 of the edits out of 5 photos. And so now I'm in the process of trying to wrap this up because, of course, I had already told my guy that, hey, don't worry, she's my friend. We've been cool for the past 20 years. So any which way, she will sort you. Don't worry, just go ahead and do the work. Now, of course, my editor, he's, and rightfully so, on his own end, he's wondering, what the hell? You promised? I did the work. Now what's happening? So I'm currently trying to do what I should have done in the first place, which was I should have asked qualifying questions like, okay, what don't you like about the photos? What is it that you are trying to fix? What do you need the photographs for exactly? Is there any time frame that you have in mind? Is this a problem even worth solving in the first place? Because this is going to cost you a bit of money. This is what the researcher says that is going to cost. So is this actually a problem even worth spending X thousand naira, over? So these are questions I should have asked at the beginning, so that if we were going ahead, I would have known what the key parameters are for success, so that I'll be able to tell the design guy, this is what she doesn't like about the photo, change this hem, cover this cleavage area, do this, do that, do this, real specific, rather than just the vague, these are the photos, she thinks it came off a little risque, can you cover up some of the flesh? So, if I had done what I should have done in the beginning, asked the right qualifying questions, I would have been able to, I would have given the design guy an exact brief, and then we wouldn't be in this situation. So, like I said, this is a problem that some of us fall into once in a while. So if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's something that you should be aware of. That you should always stick to your sales process, especially the qualifying part of the sales process, because we need to be sure that we know what the key parameters of the problem are and what the vision is that the client has in mind. So we approach this thing thinking, oh, it's Auntie Sylvia who reached out, or it's Uncle Cletus who reached out. Oh, it's Bobby. Me and Bobby went to school together. So things like that. I don't think it's much of a big deal. But if Auntie Sylvia calls, run through the same process. Okay, Auntie, no problem. What is it? What are we trying to plan? Okay, when you say small, what do you mean? Okay, is this what you're aiming for? What about this? What about that? But Auntie, if we're going to go through with this thing, even though you're saying it's small, looking at me and my crew, even if I don't collect anything, this thing is going to cost 3M. It's 3M. I mean, for this small event that you're saying, are you up to it? Are you up to dropping 3M on this sort of thing? You ask the question, do you even have to do this thing at all? Whatever it is that you have as part of your qualifying process, go ahead, ask the question. You need to be sure that there's a need, that there's a want. You need to determine the extent of the want. You need to determine any sense of urgency that they have behind solving the problem. And don't just think like, oh, it's my guy, it's Bobby, let me just sort him out. Oh, she's my classmate. Oh, this person is my friend. Oh, okay, it's my wife's sister. So always stick to your process, because remember, your process is twofold. We come up with it in the first place to do two things. Number one, it's for the protection of our clients. Then number two, it's also for our own protection. Because at the end of the day, when things run foul in these situations, if they do, you're the one who's going to come off looking like you're an unprofessional, like you're not a professional person. You're the one who's going to come off looking sloppy. Because the people that you engage to sort out the whole thing, they're not going to say this client is being unreasonable. And your friend or your auntie or your wife's or your husband's sister who reached out to you is not going to say that your employees or the retoucher or the decorator or whatever, that person is being unreasonable or unprofessional. Both parties only know you and will only look to you. So your employees will say, Kemi don't fall our hand. This person has disappointed. So it's up to you to stick through with the process. Anyway, so I think I've gone over and over. No point overtly rehashing the issue. And so that's the important stuff that I wanted to share with you guys today. So if you haven't fallen into this pitfall, then please don't. Make sure that you use your sales process no matter who it is that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with total strangers, stick to your process. You're dealing with family members, stick to your process. If you're dealing with a referral, a past bride hooked you up with a friend of hers, stick to your process. It doesn't matter how cool you are with these people or how many years that you've known them. Stick to your process. I'm not saying be robotic. I'm just saying stick to the sales process. Make sure that you understand what the key parameters are. And at the end of the day, everybody is going to be happy and everybody is going to be appreciative of what it is that you put together to try and help them out. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based event and wedding photographer Tavishima Ayide. I'll catch you guys at the next episode. And remember, come up with a process and stick to it no matter the context that you are in, whether it's a purely business context or whether it's a semi-personal context. So catch you guys on the next recording.